And we are live. Welcome back to another episode of Episode Zero. I'm your host for tonight, Shingormito, and we're going to get started with introductions. So, Mike, take it away.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Tony here, and currently just drawing a bunch of different things. Got a lot of illustrations. You can find me on Instagram at Mike Tony Design, and you can find my crappy webcomic on Tapastic called Duelist.
Hey yo, what's up guys? My name is Antonio. You can find my DeviantArt if you're interested in it. Just Google both DeviantArt error slash full slash error, and that's my DeviantArt if you're interested. And right now I have nothing to offer except that.
What's up, everyone? This is Warren Thompson. You can find me at The Road to PDS, my Facebook page, and hopefully I can get some screen sharing going for you guys later. Dr. Amit?
Yep, and last but not least, it is I, Shingormito. You can find me pretty much on YouTube and DeviantArt as Shingormito, and I will not be screen sharing today, but I am drawing traditionally, so I've got that going for me. So let's get straight into the topic. Today I wanted to talk about something that's a little bit personal and just kind of like broaden its scope to a more general, I guess, viewpoint. But we'll start small and then make our way to that big payoff. So all of you guys are focused on something, right? Like you have a goal that you're working towards when it comes to artwork. Is that a yes or a no for all of you?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
Okay, so could you tell us a little bit about what your personal goals are, like what you hope to achieve at the end of your journeys, if there even is an end?
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna jump in on this just as I was the first person, I guess, to go on, so I'll start. But I don't know if I technically have like a particular type of dream, like working for Disney or doing anything crazy like that. I just want to make a really awesome story. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if I get like hired by somebody. I don't care if it gets picked up by a studio or whatever. But like something like the way Vibe is or the way Hunter x Hunter is, like I really want to make a really dope story and get it out to people and have them enjoy it. Like that would be my dream, is for people to be like, yo, I really enjoy what you're doing. You've inspired me to do whatever. Like I just want to see more people do art. I want to inspire more people to do art, man. Like that's like my dream, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, usually you'd hear people say, "Oh, I want to get my stuff out there, get fans, whatever." But for me, and finishing what I finished with my series and little side projects I've done, I just like the accomplishment of finishing something, and going back and reading what you've done is one of the best feelings in the world for me. So, other than that, it's just that going to the next gradual milestone when I finish something else, like a chapter or something. So, my dream constantly moves ahead as I reach a new milestone. So, that's me.
Yeah, me personally, I don't know if it's a goal. I don't even know how to describe it, but in the end, right now, the only thing I actually want to do is finish a story, a comic book, or anything, and just go to Comic Con and be part of that group of people, that society. Actually meet people that actually like my work. And probably don't even know anything about it, but like just interested in it. And yeah, I just want to go Comic Con and sell stuff. That's I have no long goals, and I think that's a problem. But I'm petty like that.
That's pretty good. So I don't actually want to answer this question just yet because it might start segueing into another tangential topic. So instead, I wanted to pose another
That is
question.
completely unfair, Amin.
No. I will answer this question going forward. Trust me. It's just that not at this moment will I answer the question. The question I wanted to pose now that I've heard all of your individual goals is like, what do you think the reason is that people decide to pursue goals in the first place?
I mean, goals are, like why does someone go for a goal?
Yeah,
Right?
like
Is what
why
you're
does
asking
somebody
there?
aspire to do something in the first place? Like what do they get from it? What do you guys get from your goals that makes it worthwhile to pursue?
I will like to say that I think it's just hardwired in human nature. Is actually a way for you to be happy. Like if you don't have a goal, if you're not achieving something, getting better at something, you won't be really happy. And I think it's just human nature. I, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, on that topic of the general like human nature, like people tend to see the end result of a lot of people's hard work and they instantly want to be there and they instantly look up to that and make it a goal. Like for example, like back in the day, you would watch a basketball game and see Michael Jordan do a slam dunk. Like I want to be like him, and that's your goal. Um, and yeah, people just build it off of that. Like that's the height right there. They're the best. I want to be the best, just like them. And it's really not. I don't know. I on most instances I hear people talking about their dreams. It's like it's something like that. I want to be like that. It's nothing really too specific. It's more like emulating of what inspired them to do it in the first place.
I mean, there's just too much time, dog. There's like universally, like time is infinite. You can't just sit and not do anything. You know what I mean? Like to piggyback on what Tony was saying is like it's hardwired into us to want to do something to make us feel good. You know what I mean? And opposed to just sitting around. And I'm sure like it goes to games. You play a game, and then like with your friend or something, and then you want to win. What do you get from winning? I mean, you just get that satisfaction. I think why I have the goal that I have, in particular, is that like I remember what it was like to be inspired by other artists. You know what I'm saying? By humble artists who are like doing certain things, and you could see that not every piece of art they were doing was the best, or not everything. You know what I'm saying? They weren't trying, even though they were very good, they weren't putting themselves above everybody. You know, and they were saying that you basically have a chance to a degree, and being inspired by that. And I know what that feeling was, and I kind of want to give that feeling back, be able to be someone that can give that feeling back, and to see what that's like. And then once I can get to that point, then I'll figure out what my next goals want to be. Like, okay, so now I've inspired people to do whatever. Maybe my next goal is to hire people, to give people an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, like, why do I have that particular goal? That would be my reason.
Yeah.
I actually find that really interesting because that's almost in direct opposition to how I'm going to answer the first question.
Okay.
So the first question is, what personal ambitions and goals do you have? And I would like to say that when I started my artistic journey, I started it because I was bored and I wanted to do something that I found entertaining. What I found personally entertaining at the time was comics. And so I decided to pursue comics and manga. And for the longest time, my personal goal had been comics and manga. But the start of this year changed that for me in a very dramatic way, in the sense that I let go of that and I no longer have a goal, but I'm still doing art. So I'm in this weird flux zone right now where it's like I don't have any personal ambitions really pushing me forward. All I have is stuff that I like feel on the spur of the moment that I want to do. Does that mean I'm not going to do comics in the future? No, it absolutely doesn't mean that. It means that right now, yeah, I can work on a comic, but I could just as easily flip a dime and start working on illustration instead. I'm not really committed to anything I do, but I'm still enjoying the process of art. And the reason why I bring up this question is particularly because of that. Like, I feel that if goals and ambitions were so necessary to the human condition, I
Yo,
shouldn't be able to
Shingu, hold
function.
on for a second, because
Yeah.
is anybody else hearing Shingu cutting in and out, or is that just me?
Nope, shows you.
Oh, it's
Uh-oh.
just me. Oh, sorry, Shingu. My bad, man. You
It's
were
all good.
cutting in and out. I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear most of your explanation. I'm sorry, man.
It's fine. Let's see if I can get a short version going. Pretty much, I don't have goals or aspirations right now at the moment when I used to have the goal of just doing comics, period, and striving to make my views heard through comics. So if what you guys are saying is correct and it's deeply ingrained, this idea of ambitions and reaching for something, then how come I haven't completely broken apart and become like some sort of vegetable? And that's why I wanted to explore this question today.
I could give you a short answer on that. It's just you're still building up your skill, and that's pretty much it.
But
You s-
but it is
Even if it's not focusing or you have a focus, you're still building that skill. still not wasting your time.
Cricket.
That was it. I got nothing else.
You got nothing else?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense to me. I'm trying to make sense of it.
So you're talking about, like, you feel that you're not progressing towards your dream as much, and you're wondering why, like, I didn't really get your
Yeah.
question really.
That is my bad. Let's see if I can rephrase it a little bit better. So I used to be all this time like strictly focused on making comics, and I was like every single time I sat down and put pen to paper, I was just like, yeah, I'm doing this because I'm gonna make a comic, I'm gonna make a story, and when I would do that, I'd feel all gung ho about it, right? And then through those trials and tribulations, I learned what worked, what didn't work, and that. But at the end, I was always focused on, hey, there's a comic at the end of this waiting for me to create. Um, when I ended up, I guess you could say, throwing that away towards the beginning of this year, I didn't really have anything to work towards anymore. So yes, Tony's right. I was working on my skill, but if the skill is without purpose, why are you developing the skill still? And I came to the understanding, at least personally, that I'm developing the skill because I enjoy it. But does that equate to fulfilling some sort of ambition
I
or some
mean,
sort of goal or dream?
I mean, it's damn. I'm trying to find a good way to kind of describe it. When I was in college or whatever, I was originally a business major, and everybody kept telling me go into business, go into law. Like that was my thing there. That people felt like that's where my skills and stuff like that were at, and I decided to go into business and minor in graphic design. And a year and a half into it, I was just kind of like, I started to feel like I loved graphic design more. I didn't know what I was going to do with it or how I was going to do it, but I felt like if I did something I really enjoyed, that it could turn into something. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then from that, very, very closely following that, I started my own company and ran that for 4 years while I was in college. And I opened up retail spaces, and I was able to travel and meet a lot of people that I actually looked up to and thought were great in my lifetime and stuff like that. And it just spiraled coming from, I just want to do this thing really well. Once I got into the design, I was like, I just want to be pretty good at this. So that way, doors will open for me. And then from that, other things kind of picked up. It just opened up other opportunities. I feel like I'm kind of in that same boat because I want to do a comic. I have 2 stories that I've been writing for a long time, or I've been thinking about for a long time, but I'm just pushing my artwork and trying to get it better. And from that, I've been getting a lot of responses on Instagram about characters that I've been creating that are in the same vein, and people being like, I want you to make a story of this. And people messaging me and being like, yo, I'll help you write a story, or let's collaborate together and do this and that. And that just comes from me trying to build, just make my skills as best as I can make them. So I mean, I feel like that's admirable, like going at something that you like to do and trying to pursue it to do it well. I feel like it's going to open up so many opportunities. It can only open up so many opportunities.
Yeah. I guess my
I mean,
disparity
that was
then.
just my thought process.
No. I do agree with that, but I think then that I guess the confusion or disparity in my thinking as a result of that is that what is the necessity of having an ambition if just going for what you pursue will automatically open doors for you? I mean, like I'm drawing a
My
disconnect
bad. I'm
between those two
sorry.
topics. Did I cut out again?
Uh, yeah, you did cut out again. God damn it, man. Sorry.
I didn't
All I
answer.
heard was something about it. All I heard was something about it's killing ambition. It's killing
Oh
your
no,
ambition
I
or
didn't say
something.
that. I said there's a disconnect growing in my brain where I can't reconcile that doing things because you like them will lead to opening doors and stuff, but at the same time, where does that place ambition and goal chasing or dream chasing in the grand scale of things?
Um,
I just personally can't get my head around that. I don't know if you guys have any insight.
I don't know. It just reminds me of that saying, the journey's better than the goal. And, like, if you're just doing this solely for the purpose of just getting there, then I don't know. I disagree with that. You gotta enjoy every step of the way when you're working on something. Like, don't think of it as practice. Just think of it, you're doing what you love, because like you can count down the time and then you get to your goal. But once you get down to your goal, you're gonna get flaccid after a while, and then you're just gonna move on to the next one. So it's just like, just enjoy every step of the way for what it is. It's like if you just keep looking with tunnel vision, it's just gonna, I don't know, it just devalues everything, and it's just like.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that. I'm gonna have to disagree with that pretty strongly, simply because like anytime I've ever heard someone who's been great at something, for example, like Michael Jordan, or we brought him up earlier, or Muhammad Ali, or any of these greats, like whenever they reference something that they love that they're really great at, there are so many moments where it was kicking their ass and it was very difficult to do it, and they weren't necessarily enjoying it, and what kept them into the loop of doing it was the fact that they did kind of have a goal set. Now, even though, Shingu, your goal isn't directed toward one singular thing, like an actual object or tangible thing, when we're drawing as artists, we're drawing something to make it good, and that's our tangible goal, is to make it good, to make it better. So once you put a pen to paper and you decide you want to draw something, you're drawing it basically to the best of your ability or your efforts, or whatever it may be. And that alone, making a good picture, I haven't been doing duelist for a while, but making a good picture to me, like that's my goal, is to make something that's great and to see if people connect with it. There are so many times where I'm drawing something, to be honest, and like I might not enjoy it. Like I might not enjoy sitting down. Shout out to Tony for this, but drawing the new Masters Academy thing. I don't necessarily like sitting there for 2 hours and doing 3 or 4 of those videos, but like when I'm done and I start drawing something else, that's when I start to enjoy it, because I've put the work in that kind of sucked to get where I really wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? Like I find that, I don't know, even with something that you love, there are going to be parts of it that you don't enjoy, especially if you're pushing your limits all the time. Like that's uncomfortable. That's an uncomfortable feeling, whether you're working out or you are learning to be a chess master or something like that. You have to push yourself and push your limits. And for the most part, that shit is hard to do every time. Well, not every time, but for most of the time,
Yeah, there is that, but it's just like, no matter how bad something it is, there's always good in everything. And it's just like, I don't know, I'm just the type of person, like, it may be hard and whatever, but like learning something and learning something new from every experience I have is just gratifying to me. I'm a different person from them and everybody, so it's just like, I don't know, I just like, I find the profitable parts about it, then I learn it and add it to my repertoire for whatever I want to do for the future. So it's just like, yeah,
Well,
people are like, it's a hard way to the top. It's a hard way, but it shouldn't be just hard. It should just be an experience, an adventure. Like,
well, I mean, you run track, right? You ran track in high school or something like that. I think you remember telling us you're a track runner.
Oh yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, what were your events that you ran? Because I ran track as well.
I ran the 1, the 2, the 4, 4x1, the 4x4, basically all the sprint events. And yeah, all those times, like, I don't know, that was just me. All those times where I had to practice long distance and do cross country and stuff, it was hard, yes, but
you enjoyed every bit of it.
It's just a matter of changing your mindset, because
You're telling me you as a sprinter, because I was a sprinter too. As a sprinter, you're telling me you liked running for 45 minutes to like an hour and a half. You were enjoying every minute of that.
Like, relatively, I don't know. It's just.
I'm just saying, out of my experience, I hated running long distance, so that was my comparison. But yeah,
That's why I'm different, man. Those football players who ran in track, they gave up because they just wanted to run fast and do hundreds all day. But it's just like, I don't know. Growing up and learning, it's just like, if you're not willing to be flexible and enjoy every kind of thing life has to offer, it's just like, I don't know, it feels like you're kind of limiting yourself as a person. You can see it as hard, difficult, tribulations, trials, whatever, but it's just like, at the end of the day, life is life. Life isn't candy. It's it's like it is what you make of it. And if you're just gonna say hard, whatever, it's like this is the hard stuff. Just get through it to go to the good stuff. No, just take what you can from every experience. That's just me, but I don't know. It's just like broadening my thinking has kind of helped me a lot in my art and everything else that I try to do. But I don't know. Anyone else got anything?
Yo, I like to say one thing. To Ahmed's original question, man. Um, I'm simply curious. Do you not think you can do art just for the sake of liking art? Um, why does it have to be a goal? Because to be honest, your question, I don't know the answer. I can't. That's a question everyone asks themselves for anything they do in life. But can art just be a hobby? Can you just do art to enjoy art? Why does it have to have something in the end? Why do you have to be going for a long-term goal or reaching something? Why can't you just do it as a hobby?
No, I mean, like, I think to answer that, Tony, I think when we're kids, we do exactly that, right? Like, when you're a kid, you just draw whatever's in your head, and you're enjoying the act of creating, and you're just creating things from your imagination, and then using that to play more make believe or something. That's what I did. I mean, I created dinosaurs all day, every day, and I was like playing with them in forests and gardens and stuff. But that's besides the point. Yeah, I do believe that you can do something for the sake of enjoying it, and it would be all right. But my issue is that I was once part of that other crowd, the one who was doing it for a goal, and now I've become this other person. I've come to the other side of the spectrum, and I'm trying to reconcile the two. So this question was a really personal question for me, and yes, I was using this podcast to get some answers for it. So I
It's all right, man. It's all right.
100% admit that this was totally self-serving, and I'm sorry to put you guys through this, but you know.
No, it's a great question, man, because for all of us who are doing it is like understanding our goals and stuff like that will help us get to achieving them. You know what I mean? I constantly have to go back to being like, well, why am I now, doing this thing opposed to this thing? And it's like my common goal is to do blah, blah, blah. It's just assessing why you're doing something. I feel like my opinion can help you, get, solidify more of your goals and get done what you really want to get done. So I thought it was a great question, man.
Yeah, and I think it's better for everyone in life because everyone in life, I think, will hit that wall sooner or later in any aspect of like their life. Even why am I in college? Why am I doing all this? Like, I will say it's good to talk about it when I put a definite answer. I don't think anyone could give anyone that.
It just sounds like you were hit by the peer pressure bug on it. It happens to all of us.
I was hit by the peer pressure bug. Well,
Like,
can you explain that a little bit? Because I'm a little bit curious.
like I don't know. People say that there won't be value in it unless you're making money off of it and whatever.
Oh, okay.
And when your friends and everyone talks about like that, oh, you're gonna make cartoons? Is that why you're drawing? And it just leaks in your head. Like even going to college, people say, oh, you're considered a bum if you don't go to college or whatever. And it's like, and people do. There are people obviously that wanted to go to college, but there are people who are pressured to go into it because they feel that's the right thing to do because everyone else is doing it. It's considered a status.
AKA me.
So yeah, and then it's like then people aren't in debt and like they didn't get anything from it because it's not something they were passionate about for some people. So it's just like when people say, "Oh yeah, I want to do comics." Why? Everyone keeps talking about it, so I guess I'll be a mangaka or work for Marvel or DC, and it's just like, there you go. And it's just like when people say, "Oh, I want to do it for myself," well, that's a waste of time, and it gets into your head. Poison, man. But yeah,
That's odd, man, because I find that anybody who has seen me drawing or doing art, and I'm just like, before
oh,
Mike?
friend.
Mike?
people, if you're a good artist, people are just like, yo,
Yo, could
I
you
fuck
repeat
with
that,
it.
man?
Like, I like, even if you're drawing a stick figure that's doing a karate kick. Oh, am I cutting out?
You
Yeah.
cut out once, and we missed what you said during that
My
cutout.
internet is suspect, so.
It's all good, man. But yeah, could you repeat what you
happened?
said? Could you repeat one more time what you said?
I think he is.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Damn. Alright, I'm just gonna be quiet.
No. Yo, if you have to, just take that manga studio file you got and start writing down what you want to say.
I will.
Fun times, man. Fun times.
Yo, Google Hangouts on Air has become increasingly more difficult to use. I think they're phasing it out because of the new live streaming option they have, but that's specifically for gaming and like one-man shows. So I find it really annoying that it's harder to do these like every single time we get on for a Hangout on Air.
Sucks. Really
But they're phasing it out now. Like this technology that was brand spanking new 3 or 4 years ago is now outdated according to them. They've been streamlining it. They've been trying to make people get off of it, and it's really annoying to me because I think Hangouts are such a great service. The day where we have to go to Skype and record this from Skype will be the worst day of my life.
Yeah, they
do you-
took the page down.
They did.
Yeah, I actually saved it, and so I still use it to record my YouTube videos.
And that's the only way you can do it like effectively because they hide all the options now. You have to go through the help. I have to go through the help page every time I set up a Hangout for this podcast, which is annoying.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. All right. Outside of that, though, has anybody found a good like screen kind of capturing program
Yes.
besides Hangout?
Oh, it depends on what you mean by that. Do you mean like recording it straight to the internet, or do you mean recording on your computer to upload to the internet?
Recording on my computer to upload to the internet.
I do have one. I'm sorry, Warren,
you
go.
could go for Hypercam. That's the basic one, and Hypercam 3 enables like high definition recording. You can go for XSplit. It also does streaming, but it also records really solid videos, and you can customize and like it's kind of like Photoshop. You set layers, so you can set a wallpaper and then the screen capturing in that. So it's really cool. It does stuff so you don't have to do it in After Effects afterwards. So that's interesting.
Okay, that's dope. And then does it capture audio and stuff like that too, right?
Captures audio. You can adjust your music volume in contrast to your mic volume.
Dope.
It all compresses into one single video, so it's pretty solid.
It's called
XSplit, huh?
Hyperscreen.
No, Hypercam does not do that. It's XSplit.
XSplit is a big one. XSplit is what everyone uses for Twitch, and the fact that it records directly to your computer also is like it's solid.
XSplit. Okay. True.
The one I was going to recommend, it costs you a bit of money, of course, but it's called Bandicam. For $40, it records some of the best quality video on your computer, and you can do the microphone audio adjustments on that too. Only thing that you can't do with Bandicam is the overlays and layers. So you would have to go to After Effects to add the stuff in, like Warren was saying. But I think the quality makes up for it on Bandicam.
The issue I'm having with After Effects and like putting my Google Hangout shit into After Effects is that like the files end up being massive, dude, massive.
Yes.
And I'm using my work computer to edit them, and the last thing I want to do is crash my work computer, like over some shit like this, because they have like a diesel IT team that like tracks my computer. You know what I'm saying? Like off-site and shit like that. So I don't want them to be like, oh, you were using After Effects for what? How to draw this thing, and it's like, oh shit. You know what I mean? I don't want it to cost me my job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I might go with that XSplit.
I don't know how resource intensive XSplit is because I haven't used it. I've used OBS, Open Broadcast Software, because I did do a little bit of streaming once before, a long time ago in my dark past. And I would say that Open Broadcast Software was pretty resource intensive, so I wasn't allowed to have many other programs open. That's why I use Sci for that, I believe.
Okay.
So it does depend on what your computer like has limitations on, like how well it runs, and that will determine how well XSplit runs. But I know Bandicam runs pretty well regardless. Then again, you're of course losing options with Bandicam, so you got to be careful.
Yeah.
My bad, Warren. You use the XSplit, right? How like intensive is that?
From what it's really solid because I stream on Picarto, So it already has like the presets I set up for like Picard, and you can set up, and it gives you a list of websites, and then you can do local recording, like I said. But yeah, it's just really intricate with like you can put like the I don't know the layers thing I mentioned earlier. You can put GIFs over it, music. Can put like text over it, like a scrolling text, like they do in the news. So it just scrolls and it says a message. Like it's got some really cool stuff on it. As for definition, it goes pretty high definition. However, it does slow down my computer, but my computer already has a lot of stuff going on it. So I don't know how it would do for maybe a slightly better rig. Or someone who's more like smart with their resource management. But yeah, I recommend it. Everyone else is using it from what I follow, so I don't know. Yeah, it honestly, I just recommend do your research and see what
Okay,
streams.
I'll try it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going to actually go back and try XSplit for another recording or so.
yeah, XSplit, like you can do the free version, which I have, and has all those, or you can do the $14.95 per month option. I don't know what you get. I forgot. I really didn't care, but there's that. So
So it is a paid version. That's the rub.
of
Okay.
course. But yeah. Oh yeah, we're doing a podcast.
We were doing it. No, I'm joking. We are still doing this podcast. And actually, I'm going to use this time to segue into somewhat the next topic, and this will be the last topic I have, so everybody else can chime in with whatever they want after this. But
Yo, after this topic, I have a question for Tony Michael. Hopefully, he has good internet.
okay. So we established like I guess a position on dreams and goals and reaching for them. But like, I guess my question to you is like, what are ways that critics and critical voices kind of affect the way people see their dreams, or do they at all like affect the way that people see their dreams or try to reach their dreams? And I think we kind of touched on this earlier with Warren's peer pressure comment, but let's see.
Anyone else gonna say anything?
I got nothing.
I couldn't really hear it because you guys were cutting out again. Sorry.
It's all good.
How do critiques affect you following your goals and doing what you do?
I mean, they help me. I actually enjoy them. My cousin's way better artist than me, and he'll hit me up and be like, "Yo, that arm is fucked up. Those hands are fucked up. This thing is fucked up," and then he'll explain to me how to change it. And I think that, I don't know, I think it helps me to become better. So.
How does it affect?
Yo, Ahmed, do you have anything to say about this?
Kind of, sort of. My thinking is that, well, okay, I used to be a really vocal person who lacked a lot of skill, and coming from that angle, like the things you try to say to be beneficially or to help people in a way that you think is beneficial, they tend to either go unnoticed or they tend to be met with lots of ire and anger. And so coming from that perspective, like I learned very quickly to shut up when it came to other people's art unless they asked for it. After that kind of happened, and I kind of focused on having people just ask for it and then me giving their advice, I start to begin to question that as well. Like, was it even right for me to give advice to these people? Because at the end of the day, I feel like whether or not you accomplish the dream or goal that you have, just having that dream or goal in of itself is helpful. Like, if we go back to Tony's definition, where it's just hardwired into the human nature. So as long as you're working towards something, it doesn't matter if it actually gets accomplished, unless that's what you're working towards, kind of like in Warren's case. So whenever somebody asks me for critique these days, I'm just like, is it even right to respond? Like, is it right for me to give this person advice based on my biased perspective, where I'm not much further than I was back then when I had zero skill? So, like, why should I entertain this notion? Should I even entertain this notion, or should I politely decline them? And thinking that, I rose this question. Again, it's a self-serving question. I'm sorry, but
stop apologizing, all right, man? No one will know the difference.
Everyone knows the difference, man. It comes from a different place.
Look, we should be apologizing for this podcast, but we're not doing that.
Empty promises.
So yeah, critiques and everything, and just like I said, it depends on the person. It's just like when people mention what's wrong with your art and everything, it's like there's nothing wrong with your art. It's just people just want to look like how they would like art, and people are kind of kind of they just think that, oh yeah, if an outer source said that about my stuff and I'm too deep into my own stuff, they're right, like whatever, fresh perspective, my work will be more balanced. um I disagree, because it's just like I said on a hangout last night, it's just like ignorance is a beautiful thing, and like to see what people can do with, and like their interpretation of portraying something without like what people say is right or wrong. I don't know. That would be a beautiful thing to witness. Like the example I brought up was like a car. Someone was drawing a comic about a car, and it didn't follow the logic that cars do. And like this person drew cars like never ever saw a car before. You just heard the word and someone briefly explained it. But like other than that, they didn't say the limitations. So I don't know. It's just a new perspective on something. Untainted is just I like that.
I
Um,
mean, I would say as long as it fits within some purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, like sovereignty. I enjoy sovereignty too. As far as like Warren's saying is like someone coming into something with a fresh perspective and not being told kind of what to do and everything else like that. Coming from a trained designer background, understanding that like you have to combine a form of aesthetic with a form of function. So function is important. I think sometimes like functionally wise, if someone is creating a racing story, you know what I'm saying, and they're doing a story about cars, then like they have to know some of the laws of how cars work. So then there is a right and almost a wrong way to do it, to a degree. And if they're like, well, I want the cars to be more anthropomorphic, which is like more human-like or something like that, or more like Gundams and shit, then it's like, oh, okay, well then now you can kind of push it and do whatever. But then like, dealing with speed and this and that, like, someone could benefit from somebody who, was a race car driver and could be like, oh yeah, when I was driving, this is the sound I heard, or this is what it was like when I was looking out the window next to me. It felt like everything was whizzing by, and that's like an informed decision that someone is making about, racing or race cars or a racing story or something. I think it has its place in some cases, and in other cases, like sovereignty is great to just see someone's complete new take on something.
yeah, it always depends like what you want. Where like if you want to do art, do you want to do it so that people will see your art and enjoy it? You want to, or do you want to do it for yourself, or do you want to balance of that? And that's why everyone's different. Like there are some people who will probably never show their art to the world if they could help it, and just lock their stuff up in their room. And there are people who just want to share and put something up on their social medias every day. Like everyone's different, so critiques can help and hurt a lot of people, because once a critique is given, like people may try to forget, but if it's the right time, like it will latch on to their mind for a long time, if not a little bit forever, because it's just like, oh my god, what do you mean my anatomy's off? Oh, we lost them.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny you say that because I wasn't the one who got critiqued, but I was the one dishing out the critique, and something happened, like an altercation happened that made me like start to question, how I was doing things in the first place. Like I went to, I joined this group on DeviantArt, and I went to each deviation in the folders of the group. It was a small group at the time, like 50 members, and I tried to do my best to leave informative, positive feedback on each and every single piece. Whether or not it was positive from their point of view, I can't remember because this was like back when I started my art career on DeviantArt. And honestly, like the backlash I got from this one chick in particular, like she she noted me in private, cursed me out like profusely for at least 6 or 7 paragraphs, and then afterwards said that she would be removing all my comments and then blocking me, and quite promptly did block me, so I couldn't even respond to
Well,
her.
she.
Or no, and
Well, I
and
mean, what did you? I, honestly, like, you don't seem like you would say something.
oh my gosh.
Why is it that Tony Michael could ask a question with perfect internet, but when he's answering something, his internet leaves?
Irony.
My bad. I think you guys are cutting out again. Sorry, that's why you guys are probably laughing.
Pretty much. Yeah, could you ask that question again?
Hello.
Yeah, what's up? Oh no.
No, my fucking yeah, my fucking internet is so bad, man. Since I moved, my internet's been really bad. Sorry.
It's all good. So you were
Um,
asking like what I said to earn that ire in the first place.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I pretty much it was an image with a woman. It was drawn, I guess, semi-realistically, but with the artist's own touches. And by artist's own touches, I mean artist mistakes. And I'll be quite frank with that. I still to this day think it was a mistake. Now, whether or not I should have spoken out on it, that's a different story. But I did, and I said, listen, I don't think that arm is quite in the right place, and I don't think you curved the body correctly. I didn't. I said it pretty much like that. But then
Yeah.
I also made a point to say one or two good things about it too after I said those two things. I said I like the way that you've expressed her feelings on her face, and you've tried to contort the body language to also kind of go hand in hand with that. And after that comment, that was the one comment I remember leaving last. And I did maybe one or two such comments because this chick had put 17 deviations into this group, so of course I hit her up the most. Um,
Yeah.
and then she sent me the note. I got blasted, and then she blocked me, and to this day she has still blocked me. But I don't care anymore. It's just like, yeah, I probably was in the wrong there because I shouldn't have gone to this person I didn't even know really, and kind of like done all this or said all this, even if it came from like the best
I
intentions
think
on my part.
I think that's might be what it was is like
Oh no.
Should I mute?
it
Like,
might
no.
have been like you not knowing her, I guess, to some degree.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, look, it's simple as this. She put it
I
on
don't know. I mean,
the
it's
when when it's on the internet. Oh wait, is he gone?
Go on, man. Go on.
Go.
No, when it's on
what
the
were you
internet,
saying,
like
Ron?
these-
Sorry.
oh, when it's on the internet, like it's gonna happen. There's not gonna be a child fence to negative comments or critiques or whatever. So I think you were in your right. You used the internet. Congratulations. Are you at fault? Like, she set herself up for that. If she's gonna be that sensitive, she should have just kept it in her stash. If not, not on the internet at all. Like, and that's what happens. Like, if anyone watching this, if you put something on the internet and you get butthurt because someone gave you negative feedback, like if someone calls you freaking racial terms or whatever, yeah, that's pretty bad. But when people just point out what they personally don't like about your work, it's on the internet. People, and just be happy that you got that rather than something worse. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's honestly like yeah, I see Ahmed's critiques like, yeah, he's in depth like with what he finds wrong and what he likes about it. Like that's what he likes to do. He likes to review things. And that nothing's wrong with that. He should be given that liberty. As for how someone reacts to it, that's another story.
Yo, I think Tony might have seen. Tony, did you see on like one of my early videos? I think I did like the how to draw old man video or something like that. And some dude like wrote this comment on it. Were you there to see that? He like was like really pissed over it.
If I did, I don't remember it, man.
So some dude wrote, he's like, "Yo, this was a complete waste of time. Like, like I known some of these things, or this person can't do this or do that or whatever. And I read it and I was like, damn, like I know I'm not the greatest artist in the world. I know I'm not whatever, but I'm just kind of putting this up there to try to help other people because I'm growing as an artist or whatever. This was like last year. I'm growing as an artist, and it's like, whatever. And I was gonna write some shit back to him, and then I was like, you know what? Let me basically kill this guy with kindness. And so I was just like, well, I respect what you're saying and blah, 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 blah. And like, I obviously am not the greatest artist in the world, but this is what I've used to kind of learn with this, that, and the other thing. I'm basically starting this because I want to get better. So if you will, subscribe to my channel and just watch my growth and blah, 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 blah. So the guy like went off and said some other shit that was like, pretty mean or cutting or whatever. And I felt like it wasn't even like he was trying to be constructive. He was just basically trying to break me down. And I was like, okay, man, I respect where you're coming from. And obviously, if you see it, then it's there. Then I was just talking with a dude. And by the end of the conversation, he was like, yo, you really should work in personal relations because, like, you really just kind of spun the situation or whatever. And I was like, there's no point in me being upset with you. Just the same way Warren said. It's on the internet. People are going to say whatever they're going to say. And there's some people who just go on the internet to be negative, And in my own experience, I don't think as long as I've known Shingu, I don't think he's that type of individual that hops on and that just wants to break people down. But he's just like, yo, this is what I'm seeing. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to get better and meet your goal, I'm your target audience for a type of person. So this is just what I'm seeing, And then however, like Warren was saying, however that person's going to take it, it's however they're going to take it, I find that that's a bad attitude to take people's comments so negatively and shit. So that's just me.
Like, remember, guys, a troll and a true fan, quote unquote, come from the same source. All right. The fact that they're putting all this ability to type in like a 6-paragraph retort to whatever you've done or your artwork or anything, compared to the people you pray that even though they're too lazy to press a like button, like they put the energy in it. You gotta respect that. Nothing's wrong with that. And it's just like maybe they had a bad day, their girlfriend cheated on them for the gardener or something, but don't let them bring you down. Like, when a lot of people ask me for like critiques and everything, I'm like, I tell you, I don't critique. I'd rather just hear what you think about it, and that's it. Cause personally, that's what I like. I like to hear the person who drew it, their thoughts on it, what they were thinking. It's like, do you like it? End of the day, do you like it? I do like it. All right, I don't need to say anything.
I can attest to that because I've asked Warren for countless critiques. He just sits there and he's like smiles and twiddling his thumb, playing a fighting game. He's like,
yeah, and it's just like I was in a hangout with Anonymous 1 and 2, and when they were reading the first chapter of my comic and they bashed it, I was laughing with them because it's just like, I love my three-eyed daughter. I love her to death. She may have 3 eyes. She may be a little dyslexic, but I love her. And it's just like nothing that people will say will take away from the hard work and what I've learned from working on my series. Simple as that. And if people hop on because peer pressure when it's like 60 chapters in, like, feel free, man. Boat's always open. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I welcome critiques, man. So that's why Tony used to periodically check in and be like, yo, blah 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 blah, or this doesn't look like the quality you're used to putting out, and it just motivates me to just make it even better. You know what I'm saying? So it's always appreciated, at least in my opinion. For anybody who's listening, if you want to go to my Instagram and just shit on all my stuff.
That's Mike Tony.
But I will tell you though, in a couple of weeks you'll be sorry because I don't stop drawing and it'll get better. So, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I actually want to say something with this conversation. I don't think it actually follows suit with the main conversation, and I don't even think I could explain it correctly, but I'm gonna try. See, I'm not disagreeing with anyone. This is not a discussion. This is my point of view. I think critiques or giving critiques is a good thing because I think if you're kind to someone, if someone gives you crap and you know it's crap, and you're like, oh no, it's good and whatnot, your kindness is doing disservice to them. If you actually care about someone, you should be able to tell them or critique them how you could make their vision better or how they could achieve help how you could help them achieve their vision. I think when you stop giving critiques to a person, you're giving up. You're like accepting that's the best you can do, and I accept that. And when I give critiques, my mindset is I know you could do better. I know you want to do better. I'm gonna help and try to get you there where you want to be. I don't want you. I know you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I think if you like a person and you don't give them a critique, you're doing them a disservice, and you think they can do better. Um, yeah, I don't even know how. That probably made me sound like an asshole, but yeah.
No, I
No,
get
it came out great.
it. Kind of reminds me of when we were talking to Dr. Amit on a hangout, and how he just like I didn't tell like when I remember Amit we were talking about sketch days and everything. I told you like I didn't agree with with you wanting to do sketch days and everything, but I didn't say anything. And due to personal reflection, you figure out for yourself that it wasn't for you anymore. And I don't know. The people who are willing to actually go the extra mile and just take a look at themselves every morning and just be like, you know, I actually don't like this. I actually copied off of Yusuke Murata when I saw One Punch Man. That's why I draw my girls like this. And maybe I can change that. And like, sure, it may be slower than having like Stan Lee or someone come out right and say your perspective is shit. Fix it. Um, but it's just like self-reflection. You're just building that mental foundation, and it's just like I remember you two were talking before we started this hangout about critical thinking. Like that's key. Like to just building up your own like process of drawing and like kind of making like a like making your work recognizable to you and get a fan base of people that can recognize your work without even seeing the tag. Oh, whose artwork is this? I can't find who drew it. Oh, that's Mike Tony. Oh, that's Amit. That's Tony. Or that's Warren or whatever. And it's just like I don't know. I just tend to notice that rather than freaking. Oh, my perspective is shit. Sorry, Stanley. Let me try to fix this. Oh, your shit looks like freaking Joe Madcrap now. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that train of thought really kind of delves into the idea of the journeys we all take when we're doing art, and I think it's a matter of deciding how you as a person should interact with other people on the same journey. And sometimes you can take the approach that what Tony said, like you can choose to invest yourself in somebody else's journey, like and try to help them out the best way you can. Other times, maybe you have to rely on them to kind of figure out their own stumbling blocks and overcome it themselves. Not just because, they'll have to get over it eventually, but also because if you help somebody too much, that's also doing them a disservice. So, I mean, there is a balance you have to strike between not critiquing and critiquing, and I think that's something that everybody struggles with in the online sphere. At least that's from my personal perspective.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too is balance, because I don't think I could be in the place I want to be without the right balance of figuring things out for myself, as well as finding artists who are better than me, who are willing to say, hey man, this looks great, and then helping me improve. Like we're collaborating right now, and in the future we'll collaborate. And I feel like, that is really huge to helping people grow. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the key phrase of this hangout, like everyone's different. Like everything we said, like we all like have our own ways of doing things and how we see the path to success or our goals and everything, and that's a wonderful thing.
And then
it's just
all
like
powers combined, we make Captain Planet.
Captain fucking Planet, yeah, man.
Gatsai, Tengen Toppa.
And that's why I don't know. It's just good to have artist groups where you just talk and just bounce around ideas and everything. And
Barashka.
barrage. But yeah, it's just when someone says something and you don't agree with it, like just whatever, take in what you want, and then leave out the rest, and be like, I never really thought of it like that before. And it's just like you just soak it in like a sponge and squeeze out what you don't need, and then move on. And that's what's so great about an artist community. Man. It's just like just swapping all these ideas, and like it's therapeutic or poisonous.
Well, it depends on your level of ventitude. Wait, is that even I think that's a word.
Who knows anymore?
Ventitude. Yeah, let's go with that.
Take that higher, all of it.
So just want to let you guys know, we've hit the 5-minute mark to end, which means we're going to be closing soon. Tony, I know you had a question for Mike.
That was fast. Well, no, wait, I can't trust on Mike's internet. That's good.
Yeah, no, go ahead. You gotta ask me a question. I can hear you right now.
What are you actually doing with your art? It seems like you're redrawing it. Yeah, could you tell me the
What do you
step
mean? What I'm doing right now?
Yes.
Because you did post this earlier, right?
All right. So.
Well, no, because I don't know his drawing process. I just know that was a pretty tight sketch already, and it looks like he's actually doing it tighter.
Yeah, if you look at the.
How many? Oh, go ahead.
Well, if you look at the post I did earlier, it wasn't as detailed. So I'm just cleaning up my sketches before I ink it.
All right.
So as you can see, like my sketches are like generally all over the place. I normally start off with these like really thick kind of. No, that's not good. It's not one either. Something like really thick and just very shitty and sketchy, and then I just kind of dwindle it down until I get to something that's more fine like this before I ink it. I think it helps me with just kind of getting my inks and stuff like that right.
Mm-hmm. And it probably also helps with like discovering mistakes yourself too. A lot of
my
times,
bad. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. All I heard was discover stuff.
It helps you discover mistakes. A lot of times, what I notice is that my sketch will look pretty good and lively, but the moment I try to tighten it up, I realize things are wrong with it. And by wrong, I mean things that I don't like, because, of course, like we just said earlier, if you want to break the conventions, you're more than welcome to do so.
Yeah, the funny thing with sketches is just like, especially on the computer, I noticed that when I'm refining my sketches as of recent, it's just like, I don't know, once you're given the liberty to be able to zoom in so hard on a sketch and you're just refining it, I don't know, it kind of makes it look a little bit more stiff. Like when I'm in my sketchbook, it's like I don't have a magnifying glass in my pocket, so I just go and it looks good for what it is, unless I zoom in on a scanner or something. But I don't know, it's funny. Yeah, it's finding that fine line.
Yep.
Fine
line. Art puns.
So, yo, Ahmed, I have a question for you. Did any of our conversation today actually help you out?
Yes.
Oh.
Particularly the first question. I think that was the one that was hitting me harder than the critical thinking, because critical thinking, I mean, I've had a long time to kind of think about my stance on, not critical thinking, sorry, critical voices. I've had my fair share of just thinking about that in and of itself. But the thing with me and figuring out like how to, I guess, approach, like what mindset I should be approaching this lack of goal period in my artistic career is pretty interesting to me, because I'm not sure how to progress. So any type of input on that is just really, really important to me.
Another thing with the critical thinking, I think it goes way beyond like art or any hobby you have. I think you're always criticized, either your boss, your coworker, and whatnot. It's just how society. You're surrounded with people. People have their own minds. They have their own personality and their own way of thinking, and you're gonna communicate with other people. So I think in the end, how you receive or give credit, critiques, is how you interact in society. I hope that makes sense. Uh,
That does, and I think, I mean, when we go from the real life sphere and head on to the online sphere, like no matter what type of person you are online versus your reality, there's always some sort of trickle through in both cases. So I really do understand that point, and I guess now that my online presence in my artistic kind of mindset is changing, I wonder how that's going to affect my personal life too. And I've started to see changes already since I made these declarations to myself in the beginning of the year. Since I've changed my viewpoint, there are like noticeable differences in how I live my life on the day to day and how I present myself online. So I don't know. It's a weird type of experience living through my own growth and changes.
yo, Warren, I have a question for you, man. I know we're probably overdue. Um, you there, man?
Yeah, okay.
Your art this time last year, do you see any growth in your own artwork?
Um, yeah, I just take more time on my stuff, and it really, like, before I used to just rush stuff out because I have an idea and I just, like, I get bored halfway through. But now that I spend, like, a few weeks to a month on an illustration, it's just, like, getting to know it and getting to constantly change it up. Yeah, definitely. I feel like I've changed up a bit and really had a bit more
Yeah.
discipline.
Okay, I guess that's not my question. I think, do you think you draw better now than, or you're in the same drawing level? Have you improved at your skill at drawing?
Um, bit more confident. I don't want to say better.
Can I
That's
actually
interesting.
can I make a comment on that?
Oh, here we go.
So I've been following Warren's account that should not be named for kosher reasons here on this. If you want to find out what his account is, go to hashtag Barrage Crew and join us for the
Right.
information. But so what I noticed about Warren's art is that every single freaking time he uploads something, there is one thing about his piece that has changed dramatically from the last time. And I can't exactly place it half the time. It's really funny, actually. It's kind of like every single time Warren uploads a piece, he's like, screw it, I'm going to break something else and see what happens. And I
Yeah.
find that so intriguing about his artwork. That's like one of the main reasons why I watch him.
I mean, that's
It's
awesome for
so boring.
experimentation.
Like I talk about the artists I follow, it's like they just stick to what's safe. I'm just like, oh, draw freaking a Pokemon trainer the same way you did. No, I'm not.
You're talking about Birdie right now, by the way.
Hmm? But yeah,
There's this dude, like, it's Birdie, and that's basically what he does. And he has, like 500,000.
yeah, and it's just like artists like oh god, I don't want to say their names. But yeah, it's like you audience, take a look at your favorite artists, the ones with hundreds of thousands of followers, and look to see if they're willing to experiment or they just want to keep it safe, keep the consistent views. I don't like that. Do I get as many followers on the Forbidden DeviantArt? Probably, but it's just like it's not really worth it. It's just a bunch of outward people who click on your stuff and they just exit it out of their freaking notifications at the end of the day. Like, I don't know. I don't like consistency in my artwork, except it's for a comic or something. But other than that, it's just like if I want to enlarge something or exaggerate something, I'll go for it. And that's what makes it drawing fun for me, anyways.
And to be
And
honest, I think it makes you better. I think it makes you better too, man, to experiment. Like, I try to experiment to a degree with what I'm doing and angles and stuff like that. And I was talking to this dude, Iron Pinky, Edward Chung, and he was just like, yeah, he likes the fact that I will do some poses that most artists won't do, just because they're like harder poses. And he's just like, I know I'm gonna fail at it, or what would be considered a failing at it because it doesn't look as good as I want it to be. But I've tried it, and the more I practice it, and the better I get at it, then it'll be something I can do that someone else might not be able to do, or might not be able to do as well and stuff. So I agree. Stepping out of your comfort zone I think can make you a really dope artist. Like really, excuse me, really dope artist.
And
Actually, I'm sorry, Warren, I cut you off.
no, you go for it.
I also want to say that when you're doing something like what Warren's doing, when you're experimenting every single time you put up a piece, you know how difficult it is for people to like put a finger on you? You become this sort of enigmatic like person. You're not even actually a person, you're a being of mystical powers. Because honestly, like improvement is only gauged by how well you improve what you tried to do the previous time. If Warren's sitting here and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna break legs today," and then he comes the next time, he's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna break the face today," and like, these are just random things. They're not exactly what Warren does, but like, when you do that, you can't. People who are watching your work can't gauge exactly what is happening, and it's just so much like to look at and take in that you just start wanting to watch the person. So if you're fishing for attention, I mean, you don't need to fish for attention. Just do what works for you. And if you experiment a lot, it's going to pay off in the long run.
Make people ask questions. Like when someone goes to your profile, make them think like, what the heck are they? I'm gonna follow them just because I just want to solve this enigma. Like, not necessarily like key phrase of the day. Everyone's different. Some people go for action scenes, girls, whatever. But it's just like, I don't know. Once you have that diversity, anyways, it's rather than just freaking you specialize in Bleach fan art or whatever. You could be the best Ichigo artist ever, but human nature is just like we get used to stuff. Eventually, we'll get bored.
Yo, it's mad funny you say that. It's mad funny you say that because I like being as big on Instagram as I am, like constantly like flipping through it and adding people and stuff like that. I see a lot of artists that do very well, but like like you said, they specialize in they are a Bleach recreatist, whereas like they get followers because they do a bunch of Bleach fan art, and in some cases it's not necessarily that good, but they spent so much time doing it that people will be like, I respect that you sit there and you put 21 colors into this Shinigami Bleach thing. You know what I'm saying? And then people will follow them and fuck with them just on that merit. And what I find when I see that is that when they do their own personal work, because they don't experiment enough with it, it doesn't really look good as much as the work as they like copy. And I feel like that's where they fall short in their own way. Like, man, they want it to be to this degree, but they're so afraid to experiment more with their stuff and doing something different that they lose out on that experience, and they lose out on bringing up their own ability or their own style.
Yeah, and it's just like sorry for a little history lesson, kids, but Leonardo da Vinci. A lot of people think, oh, that man's just a painter. He painted the Mona Lisa, the friggin' Last Supper. That's all he did, right? No, this man designed flying machines. If you played Assassin's Creed and seen all that stuff, like ever since the Da Vinci Code came out, they realized that, oh man, he did like designs for flying machines. He learned to write with his opposite hand and write in mirror script and all this crap. And like, if you're afraid to experiment just because you're not going to be famous, like which artist was it? Van Gogh or something that didn't make a single cent from his art until he died? Like, that's depressing. So if you want to get into this type of stuff just for fans and like you just kick the bucket and then week one after you're dead, you're the biggest thing on DA since sliced hentai. It's just pretty sad. When you're like, oh, I never was successful, instead of thinking like, oh, I drew all those pictures. I really like the way I rendered leaves. Like, I don't know, man. People are funny. I can't wait till we die off.
That's the end of it.
As we know it. Well, anyways, guys.
Yeah, we're 10 minutes over. I think this is a good place to call it short. You know, the one thing I do have to say before we go, though, is you know, we haven't talked about anything random today, so does anyone have a random thought? Or something that they want to talk about? It can be about anything.
Clover
No?
died.
Oh no! Why? Well, actually, we already knew that.
You mean the Capcom company? Sure, little Timmy.
If you want to know who Clover is, join hashtag Barrage Crew.
Hashtag
Links in the
Barrage
description
Crew,
below.
follow us. And thank you. You know who you are for following our activity from last podcast of Girl Walks in the Room. I know who you are. And thank you.
I am sorry I haven't responded to any of your comments. Like, I am the worst at that. So I'm gonna actually go back to these videos and check these comments out again sometime tonight because I have to do that.
Sorry, Amit. And before we do the preceding sign off, I'd like to give a new activity. Tomorrow morning, you guys wake up. Don't turn on the internet. Don't do anything. Just draw or just meditate or do something that doesn't involve an outside source. Just do something, whatever, that gets you into you. Don't masturbate. That's cheating. Anyways.
Yo.
Okay,
All right, so yeah, let's sign off, guys. We'll start with Mike. We'll do the same thing as the intro. Start with Mike. You can tell us who you are, where we can find you, and like what you do.
My name is Mike Tony, and you can find me mostly on Instagram. I do have a DeviantArt. I think it's Mike Tony Design as well, or just like Mike Tony. And it's basically any of the finished work I put on IG, I take and I put on my DeviantArt. I got a webcomic called Duelist, 6 chapters so far, and that's on Tapastic, DAULIST. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys.
Yo, my name is Antonio, aka Tony. You can check out my DeviantArt if you want to. Just type in error dash
Yes.
full dash error at DeviantArt. Or you can do the same thing on Instagram. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Alright, guys, it's Ranch signing off. You can find me, as I said earlier, The Road to PDS on Facebook. You can also read my comic Dead Star. We recently uploaded Chapter 5 on there. And yeah, Dead Star on Tapastic. Can't spell it, I'm sorry. I don't care. Other than that, you can follow me on New Canada.
The forbidden one. Oh my god. Yo, Tony, before I sign off, I do have a question. You said error dash full dash error for DeviantArt. On Instagram, is it error underscore full underscore error, or is it
I'll tell you right now.
It is underscore. It is.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make that clarification so people can actually find you. And last but not least, I am the host for tonight, Shingo Amito. You can find me on DeviantArt and YouTube and Instagram. I forgot to say that in the beginning. Under Shingo Amito, just look me up, find me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I am done. So thank you for watching. Thank you for coming out. I know we have one view. We've been fluctuating between 0 and 1 viewer. So I don't know if this viewer keeps like shutting off like this page and then coming back to it, or if this is new people every single time.
It's Michael.
That is hilarious. All right, so we don't have anybody watching right now, which is fine. You know.
And
Wait, does that go live on YouTube?
No, you can find it through Google Plus, so people can actually watch it live.
so, yep, and find if you're still bored or you're still drawing, you're still eating, whatever, follow some other podcasts. There's Comics and Chill with our friend Cameron Knight. Oh, I almost call him Comic Knight. Oh, that's good. And J Talk with 2 writers we know, J Hero Wright and Joshua Harper.
Yes.
Yep. So
we will leave links to that in the description below, along with links to Barrage and all of our social media. So look forward to that.
Please enjoy your link buffet, and we'll see you.
I have one question. Before we go.
Okay.
Has anyone seen Gundam Thunderbolt? Anyone?
Yo, okay, hold on. Ward, this thumbnail has to be Gundam Thunderbolt, just because of this last question. And no, the answer is still I have not seen it yet.
Yo, what's the title for this episode? Okay, before we say anything, let's log on. So the title is...
I actually don't know, and we're going to come up with a clever one. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Gundam Thunderbolt is not my dream. I don't know. Anyway, peace out, guys.
Friends.